Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito just got himself into boiling hot water after a secret recording of him leaked minutes ago. Journalist Lauren Windsor of The Undercut posed as a deeply religious Alito supporter when she recorded this newly exposed conversation with Justice Alito. Unaware that he was being recorded, Justice Alito spoke candidly in a way we usually don't get to hear. That led to him giving some alarming responses to Lauren's points about the court's role in shaping the future of our society. I'll play the whole recording for you, and then afterwards I'll play another recording Lauren made at the same event with Chief Justice John Roberts. And you have to hear the difference between the two justices. It is wild. Let's jump right into the leaked recording.
Hi, I wanted to say hello to you again. My name's Lauren. I met you last year. I think you already met So, anyway, I wanted to tell you, my husband wanted to be here, but they lost him a business thing. And just like, make sure that you tell Justice Alito that like, he is a fighter and we appreciate him and he has all the grit. And I know it's got to be terrible what you and your family are going through right now. So I'm just so sorry.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
But, and I'm sure you don't remember this at all, but what I'd asked you about was about the polarization in this country. About like, how do we repair that rift? And considering everything that's been going on in the past year, you know, as a Catholic and as someone who like really cherishes my faith, I don't know that we can negotiate with the left in the way that like needs to happen for the polarization to end. I think that it's a matter of like winning.
I think you're probably right. I think one side or the other is going to win. I don't know.
Wow, that is quite the statement from Justice Alito. For him to admit that he thinks one side has to win is just wild. His job is to be impartial and rule strictly on the law. This isn't about any side winning, nor should he ever be giving the impression that he believes there should be winners and losers.
I mean, there can be a way of working, a way of living together peacefully, but it's difficult, you know, because there are differences on fundamental things that really can't be compromised. It really can't be compromised. So it's not like we're going to split the difference.
And that's what I'm saying. I think that the solution really is like winning the moral argument. Like, people in this country who believe in God have got to keep fighting for that, to return our country to a place of godliness.
Oh, I agree with you.
Because we look at, like, the decline of our society, the decline of the nuclear family, and liberals, I just feel like, want to see that happen and proliferate. And I think we've been too permissive to say, oh, you know, okay, I understand the Constitution. I understand,
Lauren does a brilliant job of convincing Justice Alito that she believes what she's saying. And he's quick to agree with her point of view that the left in America essentially needs to lose, that there is no compromise. And when she states that we need to return our country to a place of godliness, to hear Justice Alito agree with her is terrifying. This is a man that is responsible for making decisions that impact all Americans. He shouldn't be interjecting his personal beliefs into any decisions, and this secret recording shows that he is incapable of being unbiased. Justice Alito makes little effort to present himself as neutral, seemingly happy to lean into his role as the leader of a far-right faction at the Supreme Court that's in a battle of good versus evil. Lauren then played the audio recording she made in 2023 of her conversation with Justice Alito. She referenced this in her newly leaked recording that we just listened to. Wait until you hear who Justice Alito blames for public mistrust in the Supreme Court and his thoughts on the leaker of the Dobbs draft.
John, very much meeting you. Nice meeting you. You take care of it.
I do want to ask something. I want to be totally appropriate with, you know, the jurisprudence of it all, but, you know, just to be totally candid, like, how do we
knew. I wish I knew. I don't know. It's not. I don't think it's something we can do.
But the court can't do anything to.
I mean, we have a very defined role.
Yeah.
We need to do what we're supposed to do. But this is a bigger problem. This is way above us. So I wish I knew the answer. I do.
But you guys haven't been able to find like the leaker.
Pardon?
The leaker, like the. Are you guys being able to ferret that out?
This part is fascinating. Lauren asked Justice Alito about the investigation into who leaked the Dobbs decision. If you recall, a draft of the Dobbs decision leaked in May of 2022, almost 2 months before the decision came out. The Supreme Court conducted an internal investigation, but never identified the leaker of the draft. Investigators made almost 100 court staff members submit sworn statements under risk of perjury, but the 9 justices didn't have to be interviewed under oath. And that has led many people to believe that Alito leaked the draft in order to force the other justices to continue to agree with him. Listen to how Alito talks about the leaker.
It's hard. You know, you can't name somebody unless you know for sure. And we don't have the power to do the things that would be necessary to try to figure out, to nail down exactly who did it. That's the problem. And even then, we might not be able to do it. But we don't have the power to subpoena people to testify, to subpoena records, phone records, or other things like that. We don't have that authority. So
Why? It just seems crazy that you can't because it's so detrimental to the trust the public places in the Supreme Court.
yeah, well, we're not a law enforcement agency. You know, it's people have certain rights to privacy. So law enforcement agencies can issue subpoenas and get search warrants and all that sort of thing, but we can't do that. So, you know, our marshal did as much as she could do. There was limits.
So that was exhausting.
She did what she could do. But anyway.
Seriously, I just wanted to express my gratitude for everything that you're doing because it's a really important fight for the rights of the unborn, and I know a lot of people don't appreciate that, but it's important. So thank you.
Alito doesn't seem that bothered by the leak. You think he'd be outraged that his draft was leaked, since he previously claimed it was leaked in an attempt to intimidate the court into not adopting that decision. This is the same guy who recently blamed his wife for flying flags associated with the January 6th movement at multiple properties he lives at. So I'm not exactly believing him about anything. At the same event, Lauren spoke with Chief Justice John Roberts, and his responses to these same inquiries were starkly different. Listen to this.
I did want to ask you, like, specifically, like, with everything that's going on right now, it just, you know, it's a very tumultuous time in the country, and I'm just curious, like, from your perspective on the court, like, how do we start to repair the polarization?
Well, I mean, the first thing I think is to tell me when the non-tumultuous time has been here. I mean, you look at the court, what the court was doing in the 60s, what the court was doing during the New Deal, what the court was doing, after Dred Scott and all this. It's kind of a regular thing. People think it's so different and special. It's been pretty tumultuous for a long time.
So you think this is a normal period?
I don't know if it's normal. I mean, since I've been here almost 20 years, there have been quieter times. But the idea that the court is in the middle of a lot of tumultuous stuff going on, that's nothing new.
I guess I wouldn't say that it's not like it's an innovative thing. It's not new. I guess I really feel like we're at a point in our country where the polarization is so extreme that it might be irreparable.
Oh, I don't think that.
I think
it's extreme is like the Civil War. We did that during Vietnam. People were getting killed, and I was there in Vietnam. This is all right. I mean, it's not all right, but it's not like it's as dramatically different. People is. It's a common thing. People with their own perspective think this is so extraordinary. I don't know.
But you don't think there's like a role for the court in like guiding us toward a more moral path?
No, I think the role for the court is deciding the cases. If I start, would you want me to be in charge of guiding us toward a more moral path? That's for the people we elect. That's not for lawyers.
Well, I guess I believe that the founders who are godly, like, we're Christians. And I think that we live in a Christian nation and that our Supreme Court should be guiding us in that path.
Yeah, I don't know that we live in a Christian nation. I know a lot of Jewish and Muslim friends who would say maybe not. And it's not our job to do that. It's our job to decide the cases as best we can.
Well,
it's a much more modest job than other people have.
I don't want to monopolize your time. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Not at all.
Thank you so much.
Chief Justice Roberts has a much more sane view on the court's role. Just call balls and strikes as a neutral umpire. We don't need the Supreme Court pushing us in one direction or another. Just interpret the law. These conversations were recorded by Lauren on June 3rd at the Supreme Court Historical Society's annual dinner. The event is known as an opportunity to mingle with Supreme Court justices, and Lauren attended as a dues-paying member, so Justice Alito wasn't as guarded. Lauren's undercover work is important because of the secrecy surrounding the Supreme Court. We're at a crossroads where we either embrace our secular democracy or transition into a Christian theocracy. I know which direction I want to see America go, so it's important that we expose the views of those in power who are making incredibly important decisions that impact every one of us. I don't know what it will take to regain public trust in the Supreme Court, but something needs to happen soon because this is not working.